Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Inside Elections. The date is Wednesday, February 25th, 2026, and today we are going to be talking about this news about Kamala Harris in the 2028 presidential election as a whole and how it is ramping up to come sooner than you would imagine. So the news that encouraged me to make this video was that just yesterday on February 24th, 2026, Kamala Harris confirmed, yes, you heard that right, confirmed that she's considering running for president in 2028. And now you might say, that, okay, whatever, this is so far away, it doesn't mean anything. And while yes, you would be right that this election is far away, it's not for it's not for roughly 3 years, but that is going to come sooner than you would imagine. And this news about Kamala Harris is not a one-off thing for the 2028 presidential election. Other candidates are also considering and rejecting and publicly talking about a 2028 presidential run. Take Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom, who has been mostly viewed by the Democratic Party as the frontrunner for the nomination in 2028 on the Democratic side, of course. But a few days ago, he discussed a potential 2028 matchup and specifically why his son does not want him to run. So now, yes, this isn't too big of a news because all it is just an article, just an opinion article, I believe. But it gets the conversation out there, and that this conversation is happening more than you would imagine because yes, this election is roughly, let's see, this election is 984 days away, but that's going to come so much sooner than you would imagine, and 984 days isn't as long as you would, of course, imagine. And this is not just on the Democratic side. Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom are not the only candidates who are discussing and talking and thinking about a 2028 presidential run. Take Marco Rubio and JD Vance, for that matter. Just a few days ago, there was a conversation between Donald Trump and JD Vance and Marco Rubio, and just general discussion and conspiracy about what is going to happen on the Republican end, and that JD Vance has largely been seen as the frontrunner for the Republican Party for the 2028 presidential nomination for the Republicans. However, this article shows that Donald Trump is souring on JD Vance, and that Marco Rubio might be the one to take his place, that Marco Rubio might be the one to be the presidential frontrunner candidate in 2028 on the Republican end. And this entire field, this Republican and Democrat, this entire election primary, everything about it is far away and it is close. JD Vance, according to Polymarket, right now has the best chance to become the next president of the United States. However, him being the overwhelming frontrunner for the Republican Party, the incumbent party, and only having a 23% chance of getting elected as of right now, as of this market, it's not great for the Republican Party. And while yes, it's not great for Republicans, Democrats have the same exact problem. Gavin Newsom is the frontrunner for the Democratic Party, but he only has a 27% chance, according to this, of winning the Democratic nomination and only a 17% chance at winning the presidential election as of right now. And that makes sense. And well, Kamala Harris is even lower at 4%. But this all kind of makes sense, in my opinion. All these candidates, JD Vance, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, Marco Rubio, are not the best candidates that either party can field. There are so many greater candidates, such as, say, John Ossoff for the Democrats, or heck, even Thomas Massie for the Republicans, or Josh Shapiro for the Democrats, etc. Both parties have a problem to look at, and this all begins right now with Kamala Harris weighing in on a presidential bid. This all happens with Gavin Newsom weighing in on a presidential bid. This all happens with Donald Trump weighing in on who will be the Republican on the ticket in 2028. And I kind of want to talk about this, about how, yes, this election is far away, but it's not as far away as you might imagine. Since the 2024 presidential election, if you're watching this as I'm the day that I'm recording this, which is Wednesday, February 25th, 2026, it has been 700, not 700, 477 days since the 2024 presidential election. I don't know about you, but that election seems like yesterday for me. We are already 27%, over a quarter through, somewhat close to a third through the Trump administration so far. Not since the election, not to the next election, 27% through the entire Donald Trump administration. And there is 984 days until the 2028 presidential election. Less than 1,000 days. Yes, this seems like a large number, and of course it is. But the 2024 presidential election, of course, was 477 days ago. Soon, this number is going to be 477, and we're going to feel like, okay, well, that doesn't seem like long ago. And soon that's going to be the topic, that this election, yes, is far away, but is not decades away as it may seem. And 984 days is how much longer till the 2028 presidential election. 948 days ago was June 16th, 2023, as of recording this video, of course. And what happened around that time, on June 13th, 2023, was when the major court cases involving Donald Trump started to started to begin, when Donald Trump pled guilty in a federal indictment, for which he later went on to be convicted of. And that was roughly how long ago it is until that was as long ago as it is until the 2028 presidential election from today. Which, yes, this feels like a long time ago, but it does not feel like, since this time has passed, will be until the next presidential election, if that makes sense. And we're only 708 days until the 2028 presidential election primaries begin. We are roughly only 2 years away from 2028 primaries, from when we will know who one of the two people who will be the next president of the United States. 708 days. 708 days ago from today was roughly when the 2024 presidential primaries began. That is not that long ago. It's really not. Think about when Joe Biden dropped out of the race. Think about his debate with Donald Trump. That seems like a long ways ago, but does it seem like that long ago is the same amount of time that it is until we will know the two candidates for the 2028 presidential election? Maybe, but my point is, and I'm trying to reiterate it, but my point still stands, that the 2028 presidential election is not as far away as it may seem. And candidates such as Kamala Harris are already getting out ahead of the ball to campaign, to get the conversation going. And it's worked. I wouldn't be making this video if Kamala Harris didn't make this announcement. Any press is good press. This is good for Kamala Harris to get out in front of this. Now, is it good for the country if you are a Democrat? I don't know. Because in 2024, of course, Kamala Harris was at the top of the ticket and she lost overwhelmingly, somewhat. She was the first Democrat to lose the popular vote since George Bush. Let's see, when was it? Was that 2004? Yeah, she was the first Democrat to lose the popular vote since George Bush. She was the worst performing Democrat this century. And now she's getting ahead of the ball, saying that she's going to possibly run in 2028. This is not great news for the Democrats, but Republicans don't have any better news. Republicans are just as messed up, because whether the nominee is J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio or somebody else, they're going to, specifically if it is J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio, they'll have to carry the back of the Trump administration into the 2028 presidential election. Carrying the Biden administration on her back is what cost Kamala Harris the election. And I think the same thing could happen if Republicans nominate someone like J.D. Vance. Same thing goes for Marco Rubio, but Marco Rubio wouldn't be as tied down to this administration as J.D. Vance would be, considering he's the literal vice president of the United States. But I don't have too much to talk about. I just kind of want to bring this news to you. What are your thoughts on this news? Do you think this is gearing up for the 2028 presidential election? Do you think this is nothing? Do you think we should even be talking about this? Do you think we should wait till after the midterms to even discuss the 2028 presidential election? I think we should talk about it as early as possible. That's just my opinion. What are your opinions? Of course, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, comment that you enjoyed it. Like the video if you liked the video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I upload elections every single day. It would really help if you subscribe or like the videos. And yeah, I hope you have a great day.